I want to tell you about the night someone left me a $0 tip and accidentally changed my life forever. Not in a motivational poster way, not in a fairy tale way, but in that messy, unfair, very real way where you don't know you're at a turning point until long after it's already swallowed you whole. Back then, my name wasn't important. Let's call me Hannah. I was 28, a single mom living in a second-floor apartment that smelled faintly like burnt toast and old carpet, the kind of place where the heat cut out every other week and the landlord always said, "Next month, I promise." My world revolved around two things: my daughter Mia and my job waiting tables at a high-end restaurant downtown, the kind of place where people ordered without looking at prices and complained anyway. That night started like every other exhausting night. Double shift. Feet aching, smile glued on. I had duct tape on the inside of my shoe because the sole was splitting, and every step felt like a reminder that I was one bad day away from falling apart. Mia was at home with a neighbor sick again, and I had a voicemail from the hospital reminding me about an upcoming payment I didn't have. You know that feeling when your chest feels tight all day, like you're carrying a secret weight nobody else can see? That was me. Then the host whispered a name that made every server freeze. Evan Blackwood. If you didn't know him, he was a tech billionaire, media-famous, ruthless reputation, and legendary for one thing in our industry: he never tipped. Ever. People joked about it, but nobody laughed when he actually walked in. Servers suddenly remembered they had something to do. Managers looked away. That table was a career killer. I don't know why I said I'd take it. Maybe pride, maybe exhaustion. Maybe I was just tired of letting fear decide everything for me. The manager raised an eyebrow like I was crazy, but he handed me the table. Evan Blackwood didn't smile. He didn't say, "Please." He ordered water with absurdly specific instructions, corrected my pronunciation, and talked to me like I was part of the furniture. Every word felt like a quiet test. And I passed every single one. Not because I wanted his approval, but because that's what survival had taught me. You do the job perfectly, even when nobody respects you for it. When he left, I opened the check and there it was. 0. Not even a crossed-out line, just a clean, deliberate 0 like punctuation at the end of a sentence. Someone behind me muttered, "Told you." Another server shook her head. I stood there for a second staring at it, feeling something hot rise behind my eyes. Not sadness, not anger. Just that familiar, hollow humiliation, like the world reminding you exactly where it thinks you belong. I would have walked away right then, gone to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, swallowed it down like I always did. But when I lifted the plate, something slipped onto the table. A folded note. Heavy paper. Intentional. Midnight. Dock 19. Warehouse. B. Come alone. At the bottom, one more line. 0 isn't what you think it is. That should have been my cue to throw it away. To go home. To pretend none of it happened. But desperation makes you brave in stupid ways. Mia's medical bills echoed in my head. The 0 on that receipt burned in my palm. And something else stirred too. Anger, maybe, or curiosity. Or that quiet voice that said, "What if this is more than humiliation?" So I went. Dock 19 at midnight looked like a place where bad decisions went to die. Cold air, empty streets. One black SUV parked outside a warehouse engine idling. I almost turned back. Almost. But I thought about how many times I'd already been scared in my life and how fear had never paid a bill or saved my kid. Inside, Evan Blackwood sat at a folding table under harsh lights. No suit jacket, sleeves rolled up, a laptop open in front of him. He didn't look surprised to see me. "You came," he said like he already knew the answer. I demanded to know what the note meant. He didn't apologize for the 0 tip. He didn't explain it right away. He slid a folder toward me and said someone inside his company was stealing millions every year quietly, intelligently, and nobody with an Ivy League degree had figured out how. He gave me 90 minutes. Find the pattern or walk away. I laughed. Actually laughed. I told him I was a waitress with duct tape in her shoes. He said that was exactly why he picked me. So I looked. Numbers. Manifests. Logs. At first, it felt impossible, but then I did what I'd always done on the floor of a restaurant. I watched for inconsistencies. The way orders didn't match plates, the way people lied without realizing it. And suddenly it was obvious. Same percentage loss, same supervisor, always just under the threshold that would trigger alarms. Stealing, but politely. When I told him the room went cold, the thief was family, his brother-in-law. That night, Evan wrote me a check that covered me as treatment. He offered me a job, a real one. Salary, benefits, a chance. I thought I'd stepped into a miracle. I hadn't. I'd stepped into a war. Because when someone like me rises too fast, people don't just doubt you. They wait for you to fail. And when they can't wait anymore, they make you fail. I was framed. Digital logs said I'd leaked confidential files. A mysterious deposit appeared in my account. A photo surfaced of me supposedly meeting a competitor. It was clean. Professional. Perfect. Evan believed it. He looked at me like I was a stranger. Like a mistake. I was fired. Escorted out. That same night I was back in a cheap motel staring at stained walls wondering how fast a life can collapse when it was never really secure to begin with. But here's the thing about being underestimated your whole life. You learn how to fight quietly. I traced patterns again. Names, histories, connections, and the truth surfaced like rot under fresh paint. The person who framed me wasn't just protecting themselves. They were planning a takeover. A coup disguised as corporate concern. I walked into that boardroom on the day they were voting to remove Evan, hands shaking, heart pounding. Carrying proof instead of hope. Emails, footage, metadata, lies laid bare. The room went silent. Faces changed. The narrative shattered. When it was over, Evan looked at me and said something I'll never forget. He said the zero tip wasn't about money. It was about refusing to see people as servants. About seeing who stands up when there's nothing to gain. Mia is healthy now. Really healthy. Laughing, growing alive. I don't wait tables anymore, but I haven't forgotten what it felt like to be invisible. I fund scholarships. I hire people others ignore. I listen. And sometimes I think about that zero on the receipt. About how easy it would have been to walk away and miss everything that came after. So here's my question for you. Was that zero cruelty, or was it honesty? Was Evan wrong, or was the system that taught us to measure worth in tips and titles? The real villain. Tell me what you think. Argue with me in the comments. Share a moment when someone underestimated you, or when you realized the world had already decided who you were supposed to be. Because these stories matter. And sometimes zero isn't the end. Sometimes it's the beginning.